Roger, let me start with you. Why don't you give us your opening information, please?
Thank you, David, and welcome everybody for taking the time out of the day to join us. I think this is probably one of the first panel discussions, fireside chats that I've been involved in where my other two esteemed colleagues have their first name begin with R. So we're going to be the triple R threat today. So hopefully everyone here will have the opportunity to interact and enjoy what we'll be sharing. So, you know, what we're seeing, 2020, as we all know, and we're still living it, has been definitely, has tested us in many different ways as leaders within this particular contact center arena. And as we have had conversations with our customers, as well as hearing from others of what they have been challenged with this year, there are three areas that I want to touch upon. One is, you know, there's still the importance, whether all of our customer service reps are remote, the interaction between our agents and customers is extremely vitally important. More so, especially as majority of our staff has been moved to remote, you know, the voice calls is still a vital primary contact channel. And I still believe it will be even moving into next year, right? So the human connection is very important. Hearing somebody's voice, having that conversation is going to be still relatively important. And I view that as one that continues to be a primary contact center channel for many of the organizations. The second piece of this is really when we look at average handle time automation. So, you know, from a process perspective, even if we were working from home or if we were back in brick and mortar environments, the average handle time piece, you know, how to drive efficiency, right? Continue to still provide a great customer and employee experience, but how do we find ways to do so where it will be meaningful? And so the AHT piece is going to be and has been, right, an area of focus. And so what I mean by finding ways to improve that process is how do we find ways to automate components of our average handle time arena where it makes sense, right? So is there an opportunity to say, hey, if during that initial authentication or verification process, we can streamline those processes by introducing something such as voice biometrics, that would definitely improve, right, the average handle time and really help the customer get at getting their question or inquiry addressed by the customer service rep. So that's one example of what we're seeing. A lot of conversations is really the introduction, right, of AI where it makes sense. AI is not the silver bullet. I want to make that perfectly clear. I think a lot of organizations, as we have conversations, want to leverage that piece of technology. But there's work up front that needs to be done, to be quite honest, to make sure that you're investing the appropriate resources and the processes to leverage AI. And then you will definitely see the benefit of that once you've done the homework and done some of the moving of work accordingly up front. And the third piece that we're seeing, and again, it's going to be even continues to be a focus, is really employee engagement and development, right? So for this year in 2020, we have seen many organizations as they've had to move their force remotely. That is a different way of leading people, right? I call it more of digital leadership versus if I'm in the office, I have the opportunity to stop off at your cube or at your workspace and have a quick conversation or just check on and see visibly how well you're doing, right? Here, as the pandemic has hit us, and I would suspect even into 2021, there's going to be ways that we have to still focus on employee engagement and development. That to me should be a top of mind for many of us as leaders. And as leaders, do we know how to manage digitally, which is going to be a much different skill set than it is if we were there in person. So I think those are three things as I look into what we are dealing with currently. Those will still be things that will still need to be addressed in 2021 and have a good plan in place to really make sure that we're moving the bar. And again, I think all this ties to, right, the importance of staying connected as human beings. And again, voice channel is going to be primary, finding ways to drive efficiency and still maintaining that personalized customer experience by finding ways to improve average handle time. And then focusing on employee engagement and development. Of course, right, we know happy employees is going to be helpful from a productivity perspective, and I think we don't want to lose sight of that. So those are the three things that we are seeing at this point.